Hey, this is a drill that we can work on stability and comfort in the bottom of a squat. So we're going to combine our hip out drill with a squat hover. So I want you to sit on a box, and what I want is I want you to feel like your back is flat. So if you're not sure, you can't feel that, you can kind of rock the pelvis up and down. So here I'm rounded, here I'm overextended. I want to be roughly neutral. You can get a friend to kind of look at your back in this position. You kind of feel it with your hand. You can take a picture, but roughly we want to find neutral. And in this position, I don't want any pinching in the hips. We often use this drill for folks who are getting pinching or pain in the front of their hip in a squat. So that's what we're trying to work on. So we don't want that to start. So if you're sitting on a stool or a box, something that's low, and you can't get rid of this pinching before you start, just raise it up a little bit. So now I'm a little higher, and we might not have that pinching. So find the lowest height that you can where you're not feeling that pinching. I'm just gonna go from here. So now I got this band above. We want a pretty thick band. What we're gonna do is we're trying to feel stability from the hip rotators and the glutes in the squat. When we feel this pinching in the hip in the front, sometimes we're missing mobility. Sometimes there's a lot of mobility that's not well controlled. But regardless, we wanna maximize control over the mobility we have, and that comes from the rotators of the hip. So with this band right above the knees, I'm just gonna flare my legs out, pushing out into the band, sitting up tall and slightly forward, because this is where my torso is gonna be in my squat position. I'm trying to mimic that. So I'm slightly forward, back flat, kind of coming out against here. You can rest your hands on your knees if you want, but no helping with the hands. And then I want the feet to roughly be in your squat position, so kind of right even with the shoulders. We want to feel quite a bit of work here. Then what we're going to do, once you feel a little burn, let's say 15 reps, is we're going to do a squat hover. So I should feel work here, no pinching, flat back. I'm going to try to stand without shifting into my hips or rounding my back. So I'm just going to hover and then sit back down. Hover, sit back down. I'm going to show that from the front. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my knees out. I'm not gonna let this band win. My weight's gonna be on my midfoot to rear foot. Sometimes it can be helpful to kind of pull your big toes up, pull your toes up into your shoe to activate the muscles in the front of the shin. Hands out for balance, bracing the core slightly. Just hover and back. What I don't wanna see is something like this, where the knees drop in, you can see my abdomen dropping towards my hip flexors. I'm kind of going on the inside of my foot towards my big toe. That shift is often what can cause this pinching of the hips. I'm staying nice and upright here, knees out, feet are still straight. I have no pinching before I lift off. I lift off, hover, hold, 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 back down. And we'll repeat that for about 10 times. It can be a great warm up before you do squats in a workout.